Today's episode of the Bleav in Steelers show is brought to you by betonline.ag. Week 8 of the NFL season is here. And if you want to place a bet on any of the football action all season long, betonline.ag is the place to do it.
365, 24/7, or whatever sport you want to bet on, make sure y'all go to betonline.ag.
Ike, October is a great month for sports. So what you need to do, head to betonline.ag to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Use our promo code Bleav, BLEAV, to receive your rewards. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, cue the music. It's time to start the show. Welcome to the Bleav in Steelers show on the Bleav Network. I'm your host, Mark Bergin, joined as always by my guy, scout of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's a 12-year veteran of the team as a cornerback and two-time Super Bowl champion, number 24, Ike Taylor. IT, it's a new week, which means there's a new opportunity. Steelers going in 2-5, playing the Philadelphia Eagles in the Battle of Pennsylvania on Sunday, struggling going into this game. But like I said, new opportunity, and hey, upset on the table against the NFC's best, the last unbeaten team in the NFL.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a tough one. I saw a picture earlier this week. Matter of fact, I think it was yesterday, Mark. Saw a picture, my first time ever seeing this, for Coach Tomlin, sitting on the bench, and the offense was gathered around him. The offense was gathered around him. I don't know what was said. They said a picture's worth 1,000 words, and that meant something to me. To have Coach Tomlin sitting on the bench, to have the whole offense facing towards him, having their undivided attention, that's when you know the change of guard. That's when you know things are very serious. You know, this is uncomfortable territory, not only for Coach T, but for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then, wow. You know, Coach T haven't had a losing season thus far in his career. I can't tell you when I've had. I think we went 6-10. So 2003 might have been the first time we had a losing season, and that was a long time ago. We damn near talking about 19, 20 years ago, Mark. So Coach T is in unfamiliar territory. For his coaching career, Pittsburgh is in unfamiliar territory. But that picture gave me grace. You know, even though we're 2-5, the fact that I saw Coach T talking to the offense, having everybody's undivided attention, it's going to be a turning curve. You know, it's going to be a learning lesson with the rookie quarterback Kenny Pickett. We just going to have to go through some growing pains. That's just what it's going to be. For the defense, they played lights out other than the 4 interceptions they dropped. But by the end of the day, you couldn't ask too much from a defense with 2 Bugattis sitting between Waddle and Cheetah. And to it, the first quarter, it didn't look good for Pittsburgh. They came out blazing, guns blazing, and 10-0 just like that. And after that, it was 3-3, 16 points. So I gotta give my hat off to the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. They played a heck of a, not only second half, but from the second quarter all the way to the fourth quarter. They gave their team opportunity. Now for Kenny Pickett and company, we shall see. Kenny's going to be up and down with his play, but that's expected. You know, but they finally getting the ball in the hands of the playmakers. I think Chase Claypool have woken up a little bit. He's putting some consistent games back to back. With his consistency with Pittsburgh, been looking for a while. We just got to figure out how to get Deontay and other guys the ball. So say, my personal opinion on the offensive side, and I don't know if I should be saying this, I wouldn't mind seeing, Lil Warren get the ball more often. He's coming out the backfield. He's already proved he can pick up the third down blitzes a long time ago. Might as well let him rock a little bit. So, but just to see that picture, I don't know if you saw that picture, Mark, Coach T talking to the entire offense in Miami on the sideline. and capturing their undivided attention. That showed a lot and said a lot to me.
Ike, here's where I'm at with everything. And I recorded a reaction after the Sunday night game. This is just my personal opinion. And you, Ike, I'm not one of these people where, we got to get rid of knee-jerk reaction. But I'll go through all the different statistical offensive categories. If Matt Canada stinks it up again, the offense stinks it up. It's just my personal opinion that he needs to go. And here's why I point to this. 31st in the league in points per game, 15 points a game. And that's your defense helping you out as well because of the wizardry of Minkah Fitzpatrick. And when you only give up 16 points in the game to the Dolphins, you should win that game with your defense. I know the dropped interceptions were part of it, but 30th in yardage per game, 31st in yards per pass, 32nd in quarterback rating, 28th in yards per rush, 30th in yards per drive, 31st in total touchdowns. I look to the running game. You still don't have a rush beyond 20 yards this season. This offense has been anemic, and they only have one pass play of more than 40 yards. So they're not getting splash plays from anyone on this offense right now. And to me, it's as simple as this. And I know that the skill position players are still very young, but the sum doesn't equal its parts. A year ago, Deontay and Najee were both Pro Bowl players. As a rookie, Pat Freiermuth, 7 touchdowns. In 2020, Chase Claypool tied a franchise rookie record with 11 touchdowns. We see what George Pickens has been doing. 6 receptions on 6 targets, including one of the best catches we'll see all year. Why do you go away from Pickens when you got to prove that the Dolphins can stop that? I love the efficiency, 6 catches on 6 targets. This offense is very frustrating. And if you stink it up against the Eagles, if you want to make major changes, you have the bye week following week 8. That's where I'm at with everything. And that's just my humble opinion.
Yeah, I'm not going to discredit nothing you said. You're entitled to your own opinion. There's a few things that I can't say, but they're running into a monster going against the Philadelphia Eagles. Not only are they top 3 in the league in the rush game, you acquire A.J. Brown, and you see what Devontae Adams has been doing since he came in the league. And you see what the offensive line been doing. All they've been doing is being bullies, kicking butt in the running pass game and moving on and winning ball games. That's all they've been doing. With the helm at Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, all he's been doing is throwing the ball, haven't been throwing interceptions, running when he needs to, getting first downs and extending plays. That's exactly what they're doing. So everything Jalen Hurts needs from a perimeter side, he has. He has a big bully at the wide receiver position, A.J. Brown. He has somebody quick that can go deep and make plays in Adams. And, man, that offensive line, man, I don't think we're giving the Philadelphia Eagles credit on the offensive line. And we ain't even going to talk about the defensive side. You know, I vouched to get big boy. I said big boy defensive tackle from Georgia.
Jordan Davis.
I said Jordan Davis was the best player in the draft. Everybody laughed at me. You saw that, Mark. And right now, what Jordan Davis is doing.
Who's laughing now, Ike?
Ha. Old scout Ike T. That's exactly who's laughing now. And because I say a guy who's 350-something pounds can run low, a low 5-something, and that agile, them guys don't come around. Sasquatch don't come around too often. You know? So that's how I looked at Jay Davis. And to see what he's doing now for that field. And he's even a better person. I remember listening in training camp. He was dogging one of his guys in the drill, and one of the reporters said something like, Jordan Davis is blase. Jordan Davis was like, nah, that's my teammate. We just making each other better. So he protected his teammate off of so-called what a reporter had said, tried to make it look bad. But Jordan came in at the post conference. He was like, nah, man, that's my teammate. So nah, we just getting each other better. I just so happened to get the best of him, which y'all saw. We both was going at it. So just to see somebody doing that, just to see that secondary, just to see the head coach, because when the head coach first got hired, just off his interview, we was like, man, who is this guy? This don't even sound right. Now, fast forward to 3 years later, you see what the heck he's doing. You know, he's got Jalen Hurts and company in the Philadelphia Eagles. He's acquired in the offseason and getting A.J. Brown. He knows exactly what he's doing. You know, when you look at the offensive line, I'm going to keep talking about the offensive line because that's where everything starts. And you know how I feel about the offensive defensive line. It's the foundation of your house. When you build your house, what you're doing, you're doing it from the ground up. So you got to have a strong foundation. But just to see Philadelphia overall in general, just to see on the offensive, defensive side, how they got their draft picks, what they doing with their draft picks, how they using Jalen Hurts, the guys they acquired to help Jalen Hurts. Man, this is good to see. So this is going to be another tough, tall task for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have been just very inconsistent.
Ike, you mentioned the offensive line with the Eagles. You know, I say build the foundation from the ground up. And to me, for a young quarterback with Jalen Hurts, he is the beneficiary of the expertise right in the middle with Jason Kelce. He's the brother of Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce. We love Travis Kelce, but it all starts up front on the interior with Jason Kelce, 34 years old, well-established veteran in this league. And that's where it all starts with this Eagles offense, because you got the two monsters on the outside at the receiver position. Don't forget Miles Sanders in the backfield's pretty good too. So if Hurts doesn't have it, the Eagles can pound the rock. The thing I like about Philly is they can win in a multitude of ways. It's not just one way that they beat you.
I mean, you hit it on the head. They can win 4 ways, really. We can win it. We can win this ball game on defense. We can win this thing on outside with the 2 perimeter guys. We can win this thing with my legs, as in Jalen Hurts, or we can win the guy who behind me, and that's in Miles Sanders. It's 4 different ways Philly can win. So they really don't rely on one thing to beat you. They see who's hot that day. If the defense is hot that day, guess what the offense is going to do? They're going to run the ball. They're going to slow the clock down. They're going to play action pass. They're going to throw plays to AJ Brown, get him out the backfield, use him like a Debo Samuel. That's what they're going to do. If they feel like their perimeter guys are better than your secondary, guess what? AJ Brown is going to be the bully that day, and Adams is going to benefit off that. If they feel like, man, we just want to control the clock and control the game, guess where they're going to go? They're going to go to play action. And if the play action don't work, guess what we're going to do after that? We're going to use Jalen Hurts' legs if he can't find that. So, yeah, you're right, Mark. They can beat you in really every aspect of the game. The Philadelphia Eagles can beat you. That's why you just can't lock in on one thing when you're playing them.
And from the Steelers' offensive standpoint, Ike, I want to give a shout out to Alex Corzoa for this stat from Steelers Depot. The Steelers are on pace to score 259 points this season, which is 30 fewer points than they had in 2019 when they started Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges, all while playing 1 fewer game. So we're not trying to make a hyperbole about the struggles of this Steelers offense. Through 7 games, the stats don't lie, Ike, and it doesn't lie. Our eyes don't lie either. So that's the frustration. They've got to try to get right against an Eagles team coming off a bye week that's been, if not the NFL's hottest, at the very least, the hottest team in the NFC. And again, the last team who is undefeated in the NFL. It's the NFC's hottest. And like my boss at work, she's from Philly. I mean, this is very premature, but she's already talking about Super Bowl parades. That's the level we're talking about with this season's Eagles team.
Yeah, I mean, she has every right to.
Yeah.
You know, it has shown her nothing but we're going to the Super Bowl activities, exactly what they're doing on the field. But this is what I will say. And I said this with my kids because I coach some 10-year-olds in Orlando. And we was cold. We was real cold in the beginning of the season. We'll win one, lose one, win one, lose one. But now we're getting hot, and it's late season. And that's one thing I do know about the NFL. You don't want to peak right now. You want to get to around week 14, 15, start peaking, and you'll roll your butt and stay hot all the way through the playoffs. So, yeah, I like the regular season. She has every right to be excited and happy, but we still got 10 games left. That's a lot of football, Mark. It's a 17-game season, and we ain't even talking about the playoffs. So, yeah, right now Philadelphia has put themselves in position in the AFC to be one, to have a bye. But golly, it's a lot. It's a lot. 10 games, Mark. It's a lot of games. Anything can happen in them 10 games. So I will say pump the brakes, Philadelphia Eagles. I know y'all happy. AJ Brown said it last week. Man, the city is litty. It's lit. He loved the city, but 10 more games, that's a lot of football. And anything can happen in the span in the course of 10 games. I do know this for sure. And I don't want to be hot right now. That's because the expectations when we get to the playoffs are what? Going to the Super Bowl, talking like the Philadelphia Eagles, talking like the New York Jets, talking like the New York Giants. But, man, when you get these quarterbacks, these Aaron Rodgers who's struggling right now, these Patrick Mahomes going on the road and beating San Fran, these Joe Burrows lighting it up right now. And what I mean by Joe didn't start off, he started off cold. And we was questioning. But we knew sooner than later Joe Burrow was going to wind up getting hot. And look at Joe Burrow. He threw for a 481 piece in a ball game. So not so fast, man. I just know these veteran quarterbacks, these Josh Allens, these young studs, once they get around the December time, it's going to be a wrap.
Yeah, right now of like teams that could win the Super Bowl, and this could obviously change, but if I had to pick 5, 2 in the AFC, I'm taking the Bills and the Chiefs. The Eagles are up there. I'd put the Bengals in that conversation, and then the Cowboys, given their ability to play defense. Those are the 5 that I would have right now. I think the Giants are in that conversation. This is not a flashy pick, but the Titans, the Rams, if they can get right offensively, big if there. And then, I know the Bucs and Packers are at 3 and 4, but a lot can change here in the coming weeks. Some of these opinions are going to change between now and Thanksgiving. Ike, we just need a little bit bigger of a sample size. But if I had to pick 5, where you said, Mark, you can pick 5 teams to win the Super Bowl, it would be the Bills, Chiefs, Eagles would be my top 3. And then I'd put the Bengals and the Cowboys in that same conversation.
Bills who?
Bills, Chiefs, Eagles. Okay. Those are my top 3 in some order.
Okay.
And then I would pick the Bengals and Cowboys as well, also in that conversation to make an even 5 or to round it out with 5 teams.
I mean, you spot on the money, bro.
Let me ask you this, Ike. If I said you could take either the Bills, Chiefs, or Eagles to win the Super Bowl or the field, which side are you picking?
I'm taking the Bills.
Okay.
I mean, I just hope Josh Allen stays healthy because he's running a whole lot. He's using his body a whole lot. But I'm taking the Bills. They just can. The only question mark I have about the Bills, Mark, is the running game. I know in December, January football, you can throw all the yards you want to throw, but man, you got to have a running game. That's how you win the Super Bowl. You win Super Bowl by controlling the clock because now you give a team less possessions. So, in the playoffs, them 15 possessions, you can cut that in half. Them things turn into 8-9 possessions, Mark. We know that. Offensive coordinator get to looking at the clock in the second quarter, man, he they only had 3 possessions this whole first half. Yeah. And that's how it's when it comes to the playoff. Now, how do you do that? You control the clock by having a running game. Now, Josh Allen is part of that running game, a huge part of that running game. It's just, man, I wish they had a big bruiser. I love Singletary, but I wish they had a big bruiser. For me, I'd feel better if they had a big bruiser who can control that clock and take some of the load off of Josh Allen being your quarterback.
Makes a lot of sense to me. Let's get I'm going to give my quick score prediction for Eagles Steelers. I've got the Eagles 31, Steelers 14, over under at 43. And what are you laughing at, Ike?
Well, that's go, boy.
Yeah, I mean, it's what I've got. I mean, look, the Eagles are favored by 10.5. Some books have them at 11, Ike. I mean, I don't expect it to be pretty. You're
right, but you added a couple of more points to that thing. You added about 3 more points to that thing. You said 31, 14. I mean, the line at 10 or 11, you said, man, let me plus 3 that thing. Let me add 3 more points.
The Eagles are coming off a bye week. I think they're going to be prepared.
Yeah, it just hurt my heart. But yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're right. You're right, Mark. You 100%.
Listen. My picks have been terrible this year, and you either want to be great or terrible. My picks against the spread this year, Ike, for the Steelers, I am 1-6 against the spread this season. So if you've done the opposite of what I've said, you've made some coin on betonline.ag.
Hey, that's the only thing I hate about these buys. It's going to be one or two things, and it won't be a gray area. Either you coming out the blocks hot, or you going in a whole south direction. It's a hit or miss. That's the only thing about these buys. But that's a good. I don't know for Pittsburgh. I'm just gonna sit here. I'm gonna say some prayers.
All right, Ike, we will move on. And again, we know you've got your scouting responsibilities with the Steelers. Trade deadline's coming up next Tuesday, November the 1st. And I want to play a game with you. I've got 2 players listed on the Steelers that I think have the potential to be traded. I'm not saying run them out of town. I'm not saying this is definitively going to happen. But if the Steelers get phone calls from these teams, I think they entertain the phone call. First player I want to start with, Mason Rudolph, who's been the 3rd-string quarterback all season long, has starting experience, has a winning record as a starting quarterback in this league. I think if the Colts call the Steelers on the phone and they say, hey, Matt Ryan just got benched / he has a grade 2 shoulder separation injury. He's done. Sam Ehlinger, the former Texas quarterback, is going to be the starter. He's one play away from getting knocked out. And then who's your backup if you're the Colts? Colts call the Steelers and off, I don't know, give Pittsburgh back a 3rd or 4th round draft pick, Ike, and we can start to build for future seasons. I think you entertain that offer. Mason Rudolph to the Colts, possible fit.
I'm not going to disagree with that. I mean, you said 3rd, I was saying 4th. But when you said 3rd and 4th round draft pick, I was like, perfect. Let me go and get on my horn, make sure I get all my grades together and giving it to Omar Khan and company for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That wouldn't be a bad look at all, because that situation said. So we got Matt Ryan sitting down for the whole season. Sam Ehlinger is coming in to be determined to see what the young man do. You got a guy who, as a backup of Mason Rudolph, who's been a starter and played in a few successful games. Let's see what we can do. You know, if we're gonna flip the coin, we might as well flip it all the way. And who has quarterbacks? The Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, they got 3 good quarterbacks. So yeah, I'm not gonna knock that at all. That would be a good one.
I would say serviceable quarterback, Psych, but that's just me. But quarterbacks Correct. With starting experience is the point that I'm trying to make.
Yes.
And that's where I'm at with that. So, okay, Colts, let's get him on the horn. Let's get him on the phone. And again, Rudolph has starting experience. If you can get value for him in future seasons instead of, look, I know he's probably valuable in that quarterback room, but he probably wants an opportunity potentially to get on the field as well. That's right. Not really going to happen so long as Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky are healthy. So there's one possible fit. Chase Claypool to the Packers as well was another potential fit, Ike, that I had. And I know the Steelers aren't usually a team to make midseason trades, but Aaron Rodgers, Packers sitting at 3-4, trying to chase down Minnesota in the NFC North Division. Remember, you lost Devontae Adams in the offseason to the Raiders, and you get Aaron Rodgers another weapon as the Packers try to put it together to make one more postseason run as Rodgers starts to get older in his career. Possible fit with Chase Claypool if they get the Steelers on the phone. Look, Claypool is at least a 2nd-round pick, so if I'm Pittsburgh, I'm asking for at least that. Right. And that's where I think that conversation starts.
Yeah, you can ask for that, but you probably get a 3rd.
Yeah.
You know, so if you get rid of Mason, and we're just hypothetically speaking,
yes.
If you get Mason off for a 4th and you get Clay off for a 3rd, I mean that's 2 3rds and that's 2 4s. So you got a 1st, a 2nd, 2 3rds, and 2 4s. Yeah, so that's some good picks. Really, that's where you build your team when you're looking at it from a draft standpoint. That's just my personal opinion, because your 1st and 2nd and 3rd round, and them guys, you should hit on all 3 of them. You should already know they coming in. And 2 of them gonna be starters. If the 3rd round wind up being the starter, that's perfect. But from 4 all the way to 7, that's really where you're building your team. I just look back on how we was building our team as the Pittsburgh Steelers from the 4th round, from when I came in all the way down. Everybody played. You know, Aaron Smith played, Brett Kiesel played, I played, and between Aaron Smith and Brett Kiesel, they wound up becoming Pro Bowl guys. You know, so that's when you really want to build your team. And people don't look at it this way, but I do, Mark. You want to start from the bottom up. I'm going to hit on 1, 2, and 3. That's how you got to look at it. Okay, my 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th round draft picks, how can they come? I'm not talking about to contribute. I'm talking about to put pressure on guys to be in a position to start. Maybe they slipped from round 4 to round 7 because a scout or somebody projected them wrong. Maybe they slipped because they had a few issues in college. Maybe they slipped because they did something in the combine that other people thought they would have ran a jump higher. Maybe they just slipped. By the end of the day, that tape don't lie. So that's how I feel you build the team. The better, the more aggressive, the more dog your later round draft picks are, man, the better your whole locker room gonna be. And I've always looked at that, especially coming from a scout from my perspective. The late round draft picks the Pittsburgh Steelers used to get wind up being the Antonio Browns, wind up being, all pro Bowl guys. You know what I'm saying? So me, Deshae was a 4th rounder. He played 12 years. I was a 4th rounder, played 12 years, was two starting corners that won the Super Bowl in Detroit. Will Gay wound up playing 12 years. He was a 5th round draft pick. Brett Kiesel was a 6th round draft pick, wound up going to the Pro Bowl. Aaron Smith was a 6th round draft pick, wound up going to the Pro Bowl. Who else I'm missing out on?
So you stole my AB line. I mean, we're talking about the player, but for 5 or 6 seasons as a 6th round pick, you're in my brain, Ike.
He wasn't a better receiver, had a better run than AB in a 5 or 6 year span. At the time, he was hot. You can say what you want to say about him off the field and his decision making, but on that field, I mean, about a 6 year span, wasn't nobody doing nothing AB was doing. Yeah. AB was in a league of his own. So, and that's what I remember from Pittsburgh, just getting the late rounds, So really, that's what you just need to get back to. But as far as like the trade deadline mark, yeah, I can see a 3 for Chase. I can see a 4 for Mason. And the reason why I can see a 4 for Mason, because they always value quarterbacks. More quarterbacks are always valued more than any other position, is what I want to say.
We saw Christian McCaffrey go from the Panthers to the 49ers. Do you think there are going to be any other blockbuster deals between now and next Tuesday?
No, that was a blockbuster deal right there. For CMC to leave Carolina and to go to San Fran, you saw immediately they put him in. I mean, the starter and Wilson Jr. is one of my favorite running backs in the league. So they sat him down to get CMC, Christian McCaffrey, some touches, and he's going to fit well, Mark. CMC is going to fit well. He's going to fit well with them boys. You can just already see, because he's small in stature, but he's not one of them small running backs who just want to run to the outside. The young man don't mind running inside in between the tackles, and that's exactly their personality when it comes to it. And we ain't even talking about coming out in the backfield. I think the first couple of plays they did like quick screens to CMC right now just to get him the ball and let him do what he do. First down, first down, first down.
As long as he stays healthy, Ike, and that was the question going into this season, was his ability to stay on the field. But if he's healthy with the ball in his hands in space, he's not your traditional between the tackles running back. He can do it all. Get him the ball. He's a great pass catcher out of the backfield. He can do it all. So I'm with you there.
With San Fran stable the backs, Mark, they're not going to use him like how Carolina would. Like CMC was the guy. With the stable Coach Shanahan has sitting over there at San Fran, he's going to fall in line right with the mix. They're going to have a good mix. They're going to make sure they don't overload the young man.
I trust Shanahan a little bit more than I do former Panthers coach Matt Rule, and I'm not trying to step on someone while they're down, right. But there's a reason he was the first coach fired this season, Ike. So I'm excited for that fit in San Francisco. And look, the Panthers got to haul back, and the Panthers, even at 2-5 in the NFC South, are still only 1 game out of that division. We'll see what interim Steve Wilks can do with that opportunity there, Ike. So you're 2-5 and you're only 1 game out of the division. That shows you how crazy this season has been.
Yeah, you saw what PJ did to Tampa. Mm-hmm. I mean, one thing about when the head coach get fired during the season, when the guy gets traded, and then Robbie gets traded as well. Anderson, the wide receiver, will wake a lot of people up. Everybody on eggshells. That's a reset button, you know. So when they traded CMC, man, guys in the locker room like anybody, ain't nobody safe in this locker room. So it wakes you up. So yeah, that laziness, or yeah, that not coming in. The meeting is at 8, and you coming in at 8:01, and you supposed to come in the weight room. We start at 5 in the morning. You coming in at 5:15. Nah, with that trade with that CMC with Christian McCaffrey, that's a wake up call, because you don't want to be in the streets. Like, you want to play football, and sometimes you got to do that to wake guys up. I'm not saying guys aren't motivated. I'm just saying sometimes guys get content, you know. And what they was doing over there in Carolina, they weren't winning like the high expectations was for them to win with the coach in Matt Rule. They wasn't. Nowadays, when you just get to letting guys go, especially CMC, and we've been seeing what CMC been doing since he got in the league, you know, coming out the backfield and running the ball in between the tackles and just having a lot of splash plays when he's healthy. When you let that guy go, ain't nobody safe, Mark. That's why they came out the way they came out against Tampa. They played like ain't nobody safe. Like, this is my last opportunity. And they will continue to play like that because they know the GM and they know the owner Temper ain't playing no games no more. So that's what I'm liking, man. It's that reset button. It's putting gas in the fire. You know, that fire was kind of low for that locker room, I thought. And that's motivation. Sometimes motivation got to come in different forms. That's a whole different form of a motivation when you trade a guy like CMC to the San Francisco 49ers. But that's after the fact that you trade a Robbie Anderson to the Arizona Cardinals. Ain't nobody playing no games. And Temper, with it from afar, it just looked like the owner Temper is in cahoots with the interim coach and Steve Wilkes. So, Coach, whatever you want to do, now's the time. And he's letting Coach Steve, and you can tell these guys are playing for Coach Steve overnight. I'm saying overnight in our eyes, but obviously the players been thinking Coach Wilkes should have been the head coach. I could be 100% wrong, Mark.
Well, the thing I've got my eye on is Tepper, when he talked to reporters after the firing of Rule. The thing that was interesting to me is the current GM going to be the GM next season as well? So there's potentially a lot of changes in Carolina, and Tepper wouldn't commit to him. But Tepper's still new to this, because he just took over the Panthers in, I Bleav it was 2018. So he's still new to this. A lot of owners come in and say, hey, I'm going to do it differently than owners that have been in it for generations, Ike. I'm talking decades. And so go ahead, Ike.
Owner a team, though. Tep is new for ownership. You know, Tep been owning professional teams for a minute. Don't forget, Tepper was a minority owner for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's still a Pittsburgh guy. You know what I'm saying? So, and he's the richest owner, to be honest with you. As a matter of fact, he's the NFL richest owner. So, you know, that money ain't a problem. And he'll tell you that straight to your face. When it comes down to money, that's not the issue with me. That's why I was quick. I was quick to get Matt Rule in, and I was quick to get him out. And we ain't never got to talk about money. He gonna get his money. I'm gonna move on to the next one. So I know Tep, a very confident guy with personality. I will say. So, you know, just that old Pittsburgh billionaire background. You know, Mark Cuban, the Rooneys, Carnegie Mellons. I don't even think people know Rockefeller is from Pittsburgh but moved to New York. We talking about Tep. Like, we can go down the line with just all of these billionaires from this little 412 area code shirt I'm wearing right there.
Yeah, the Honus Wagner shirt, Ike. Most valuable baseball card in the history, most valuable sports card in the history. You can Google that and look that up. Ike, yes. We need to move on. This show kind of got off the rails, but that's okay. I'm going to bring us back here. Monday is Halloween. And so we're going to do a Halloween draft. Both of us will pick 5 candies. I will give you the first pick. You got to pick one candy to start, and we'll do to where if you pick a candy, then I can't pick that same candy. I've got my list ready to go, but you can get your first pick. I'll give you the first pick of whichever Halloween candy.
I forgot the name, but it's the old school candy. The corn candy that's yellow and orange, the little small ones, the candy corn candies.
Yeah.
I'm going to go traditional with that. I'm going to go with the throwback. That's
all
one
right.
for
All right, you've got candy corn at number 1. Number 1, I'm taking M&M's chocolate as well. Pop those in the fridge or the freezer, Ike. Pro tip there. Okay. You get a nice little dessert, and just you've got to have them served cold. I am adamant about that. But okay. M&M's chocolate is my first pick.
Okay, I can go on my second pick?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm about to steal it from you. My second pick is, you can put this also in the refrigerator as well, the Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Good pick. Good pick. Yeah, I'm with you there, Ike. You put those in the fridge or the freezer, absolutely delicious. I struggle because, like, honestly, Ike, I only need 2. You get the king sized and you get 4 cups, and it's just like my stomach's going to be upset, but I can't help myself because they're so good.
Correct. What you got?
Okay. I will go with Kit Kat, and also pop those in the fridge or the freezer as well. So if you're taking Reese's was on my list. I'm going to take Kit Kat with my second.
And my third is? My third is the king size Snicker.
Good pick. Good pick. You ever have the Snickers ice cream bars? Not your traditional Snickers, but the ice cream bar?
Seen them, but I never had them, Mark.
Delicious. And there are certain things I can't buy at a grocery store. That's one of them, because I would just eat the whole box in one sitting. But good pick. So with everything off the board, I'm looking at my list. Give me the traditional Hershey's bar. It's a classic. Hershey's, Pennsylvania. We went as a kid. My family took me. Incredible thing. And what can't remember his first name, Hershey, what he did for the town there to help the economy, help people with jobs is absolutely incredible.
He put it like a fairground, which you just went to. He put a whole theme park for his community out there.
I Bleav it's Milton Hershey, Ike.
Yeah.
Not a historian, but I will go with the Hershey's bar with my third pick.
That's a good pick, bro.
Yes. So now we've got 2 more each, Ike.
They got 2 more each?
Yes, sir.
Give me that old school Payday.
All right. I would not have gone with that sleeper pick, Ike, but I'm with you there. I haven't had a Payday in a long time since I was a kid.
Right.
That'd be one where you'd get in your Halloween basket and it wouldn't be your first choice, but then by the time you got to it, it's be like, oh, I should have ate this first.
For real.
All right. I am going to go. Got a few. This is tough.
Damn, you got a whole list doing a draft.
Oh yeah, I've got a whole list, Ike. I'm going to go with peanut butter M&Ms here. It's funny because as a kid, I did not like the peanut butter M&Ms, but as an adult, I like the crunch.
Okay.
Again, you can serve this cold. I think you can eat these more at room temperature, but give me the peanut butter M&Ms. That'll be my 4th pick. We got 1 more each.
Last but not least, Mark, give me I'm torn. Last but not least, give me my Sour Patches.
Good pick.
Oh, my smaller travel bag Sour Patches. Yes, give me my Sour Patches.
Personally, I'm not a sugar candy guy, but if I was, that is an excellent pick. I think Skittles are in the mix as well. Again, I'm more of a chocolate guy myself than sweet sugary candy, but Sour Patches, excellent pick. See, I'm torn. I'm torn between 2. Give me the Twix bar at number 5. I'll go with the Twix.
Man, I see your move. You You like to preserve your damn near every candy you to hit, you can put it in the refrigerator. You trying to preserve all yours.
Yeah. Guilty, Ike. Guilty. So quick recap. Ike's got, I'll go through your top 5, then I'll go through mine. You got candy corn, Reese's, Snickers, Payday, Sour Patches, good draft. I've got M&M's, Kit Kat, Hershey's, peanut M&Ms, and Twix, and that is our Halloween candy draft.
Boom.
If you think we're wrong, let us know in the comments. I am open for criticism with our Halloween candy. Ike, couple ones left off the board. Crunch Bar. I love Crunch Bars. And then the 100 grand bars as well. Hard not to pick either of those, but we could only pick 5 each.
Yeah, I mean, we did good.
Yeah. Shout out to Skittles as well. Ike, let's rip through the week 8 matchups. Thursday night, Ravens at Bucks. Bucks have lost 2 in a row in 4 of their last 5. And the Ravens have led by double digits in every game they've played this season, including the week 7 win over the Browns. But the Ravens have been bad in late game situations. To me, Ike, the Ravens are a team tale of 2 halves because they're tied for third and first half point differential at 45. But they are 24th in the league in second half point differential at minus 25. Having said all this, given the struggles of the Bucks right now, I like the Ravens on the road in Tampa playing the Bucks. What do you think about this matchup?
Yeah, I'm gonna take that with you. I'm gonna co-sign that with you. I like the Ravens on the road in Tampa. I like what I think the Ravens gonna get after Tom Brady. They got the guys in the secondary to do it. The only thing that's I'm hesitant on is what you said. It's the second half adjustments coming from the Ravens in the defense. They've allowed teams to come back from 17, 15, and 10. So that's my only issue. And, if you give Tom Brady any kind of time or he sniffs out exactly what you're doing, he's going to light you up. But for the most part, I'm going to go with the Raven defense, and I'm going to go with Lamar in that running game for the Baltimore Ravens against the Tampa Bay Bucks.
If the Ravens knock off the Bucks, Ike, we're going to hear more and more about, is this it for Brady and the Bucks, team that has struggled to run the football this season? We'll see, though. Again, in the NFC South, you don't have a team above 500 right now. Again, we'll both take the Ravens as 1.5-point road favorites on Thursday night. Let's go to the London game, Broncos and Jags. Ike, I'm going to go with the Jags just given the struggles of the Broncos. I know Russell Wilson isn't quite healthy. It just hasn't looked right for this Broncos team. The Jags have shown flashes, but they've slipped up too, though. But for me, it's just like the uncertainty of the Broncos offense. Javonte Williams is hurt. I'm going to take the Jags in London, but I like these London games because you flip the TV on Sunday morning and you've got football ready to watch.
Early, 9:30 in the morning. So, yeah, I'm going to go with you again. I'm going to pick it back off you again. I'm going to take the Jags. I think the Jags, they haven't been finding ways to lose. They just haven't put all the pieces to the puzzle together consistently. They've shown flashes that they can dominate games, and show other games where they were very inconsistent, and they're a young team. But by the end of the day, they still have talent. And they were struggling with Russell Wilson. So just overall, in general, a struggling Denver Broncos in London. I'm going to take the Jags as well.
All right, Ike, 49ers at Rams, 49ers, a 1.5-point road favorite. I'll let you take the first pick, and you know what? I'm just going to argue the opposite, so I'm going to give you the floor first. Who do you got, 49ers, Rams?
Yeah, I mean, CMC, this is the second week with CMC, Christian McCaffrey, being installed into the San Francisco 49ers offense, which I love. I love their zone running scheme. I love their play actions. Kittles last week finally got to what Kittles of old, what we like to see in Kittles. I think Kittles will be a major component. Brandon Ayuk, he's starting to become the number one receiver, not number one receiver, but outside threat. Deebo Samuels, he's just a Swiss Army knife. He can pretty much do it all. Whether you want him to be an outside receiver, a slot receiver, or a tailback, he can do it all. It's just going to be on Jimmy Garoppolo. But at one point in time, when you play against a Patrick Mahomes, that's exactly what Patrick Mahomes is going to do to pretty much anybody's defense. So I'm not looking at Stafford like a Patrick Mahomes. So, yeah, I think the San Francisco 49ers is going to play pissed off. I'm not saying that the LA Rams not. I think the San Francisco 49ers are a more physical-minded team than the LA Rams, and I think they're going to come off this loss against Patrick Mahomes and company mad. So I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers. Right now, the LA Rams haven't been looking like the LA Rams. They've been very inconsistent. Matthew Stafford, for some reason, I don't know if he's hurt, but, you can't beat Father Time, and that's what it's starting to look like. Other than the play-action pass game, what they had going on, Sean McVay and their offense really can't do much if they don't have a running game. I know he's been trying to get back to the running game. So, Cooper Kupp is just going to be Cooper Kupp, regardless of how you look at it, because Coach Sean McVay always going to find a way to get Cooper Kupp the ball. And between the relationship between Stafford and Kupp, man, it's a bond you can't break right now. So he's always going to look for his guy. But by the end of the day, just an overall team, just to trade value off of CMC going to the San Francisco 49ers. Just the 49ers defense alone, they don't like the blitz. They got guys who can get to the quarterback with just a four-man rush. So it's gonna be a tough one, but I do have the San Francisco 49ers beating the LA Rams coming up this week.
Here's the case I'll make for the Rams. Coming off a bye week, they get right against their division opponent. McVay, Stafford, Kupp is your foundation. And if I'm Stafford and Kupp, I'm sweet talking, I'm sending packages, I'm sending text messages, phone calls to OBJ to say, hey, come help us out because we need your services to help open this offense up. A Rams offense, though, that has also struggled to run the football. 31st in the league. They trail, they're only ahead of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in that department. But getting off the bye week, I think McVay and company can get it right. So that's the argument I would make for the Rams at home on Sunday.
Cool.
Okay, let's keep going. Sunday Night Football, Packers at Bills. Very simple. We talked some about the Bills earlier, but Josh Allen, the current odds-on favorite to win MVP. Buffalo is still the favorite to win the Super Bowl, rightfully so on both accounts. Bills are an 11-point favorite, and if you don't think they'll cover the 11 points, throw them on the money line in a parlay. I like the Bills at home against a struggling Packers team.
Oh, man. I'm going to go with the Packers.
To win outright?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Packers. I just can't. I just think they just going to figure it out. I think they just going through that rough sled. And I think they're going to finally turn the corner on somebody like the Buffalo Bills. This is probably my upset of the week. And this is probably one of my, I wish the Buffalo Bills didn't have a bye this week and they got to play the Green Bay Packers. So this is my gut feeling right now. This is my upset of the week, and I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers, Mark.
All right, Ike, I think if that happens, you'll get a big game from Aaron Jones and I call him Tree Trunk Dillon in the backfield, a mammoth of a man, A.J. Dillon, the Packers running back. So if that happens, you get some of these same game parlays, Ike, and you can wager on a lot of different things. If the Packers upset the Bills, I think you need big game from the Packers running backs to control the clock and use the Packers offense to keep the Bills offense off the field. You use your offense as your defense in a certain sense.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking at the running game for sure because, I'm a huge Aaron Jones fan. But I'm just looking at it from, I finally looked myself in the mirror, an Aaron Rodgers guy. So yeah, I'm just trusting my receivers, even though they're young. I'm just going to trust them, and at this point in time, it's going to be what it's going to be. So that's why I'm going with the Green Bay Packers.
All right, Ike, that's a huge upset. Monday Night Football, Halloween night, AFC North matchup, Bengals at Browns. Browns at home in Cleveland. Bengals are 3.5-point favorites on the road. This Browns team, though, has lost 4 consecutive games. And with this Bengals offense, the way they're throwing the ball all over the field, they're running less on early downs, and they're going to a shotgun-heavy, light personnel offense. It's working, Ike. We know about the connection between Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and I think that continues. I think the Bengals, after a slow start to the season, are finally getting right, and I think that they're going to continue to be in the conversation among the NFL's elite. Give me the Bengals on the road on Halloween night against the Browns.
Oh, man, I can't disagree with you on that one. Jacoby Brissett is just what Jacoby Brissett is. Even with a mean running package between Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, it's just once you get up on Jacoby, it's hard to ask Jacoby to come back and win you ball games. So say, not saying he can't do it, but it's just Cincinnati, Mark. I mean, you just said it. They getting hot at the right time. You know, even when they lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers created over 7 turnovers in that game.
It was 5, but yeah, 5-0.
5. I mean, they barely won. So, right? Am I lying?
No, I'm laughing because it's true. And you win the turnover battle 5-0, you should win by more than 3 points, but you're not lying, Ike.
Yeah, so, and I mean, it just happened. Joe Cool, man. Joe Cool different, bro. He's an old school, but in a modern day era. You know, nothing bothers him. He got his own personality. He's not going to say anything wrong. He's going to be 100% honest. And you can just tell that organization, whether you're on the offense or defensive side, Mark, as long as they got Joe Cool, they cool with everything in the world. That's just exactly how they move. Like, we got somebody y'all don't have. What's his name? Joe Burrow. What y'all call him? Joe Cool. Whether you play offense or defense. I know defensive guys feel like if they have Joe Cool as their quarterback, they can play offense. That's how good Joe Burrow is. I don't think too many people can say that about their quarterback. It's just his personality, Mark. So, yeah, you give him some stud at receivers. You give him T. Higgins. We saw what he did at Clemson. You give him Jamar Chase. You saw that run ahead of LSU. You give him Boyd. You saw Boyd was a dog in Pittsburgh. So all he knows is cold weather. And guess what it's getting right now at Halloween time in Cincinnati? Cold. So when you give him that, then you give him a running back. I mean, then you give them a defense who's optimistic. Yeah, they're not going to just stop anybody, but they're going to create and cause turnovers. And you just keep giving Joe Burrow more possessions. I mean, for the 481 piece, what they just did, Mark, the man did 481, man. I mean, everybody was throwing parties. I mean, which receiver? T. Higgins had 93 yards. Tyler Boyd had over 150-something yards. And, you know, Chase just off of his name, like, you just say Chase, you're going to say touchdown. Hey, Chase, hey, touchdown. that's just what it is over there. It's just hard stopping them boys. So you want 100% right, man. Like, and I love Cleveland and their running game. I love their style. They just got to stick to it. But it's just a smooth assassin of Joe Cool, bro. That boy's a goddamn assassin, and he just so cool with it. He's so cool with it. So, yeah, Cincy all day on this one, man. That's going to be a heck of a game.
Ike, I don't give you enough credit. Swagging you, anointing Joe Burrow the nickname Joe Cool. I don't give you enough credit for that.
Nah, you always give my flowers, man. I appreciate you.
Ike, one final thought I have on this game. Kareem Hunt's name has been rumored to be in the mix during the trade deadline between now and next Tuesday. So potentially his final game in a Browns uniform. We shall see. We're recording this on Wednesday. So if he does get traded, we'll see.
I'm going to throw this out there. I don't know what picks, and usually you don't go in your division, but you put Kareem Hunt over there with the Buffalo Bills. Whoo. Whoo. Whew.
I need to keep talking, Ike, because honestly, this is going to be a social media clip. I'm mad you thought of that before I did.
Hey, listen, Mark, like I said, you usually don't go in your division, but Kareem sitting over there with Buffalo.
Well, your conference, Ike, your conference.
I'm sorry, your conference.
Yeah.
Kareem with Buffalo, Kareem Hunt with Buffalo. That's the last piece they need. That's the last piece of the puzzle they need right there, Mark. We're gonna start our show off with that. Right. And I know you mad because you ain't think of it first.
Well, what I'm gonna say when this happens next week when we talk about it, Ike, we're manifesting this right now. I'm gonna say, should we give the Bills the Super Bowl Lombardi Trophy now or later? In all honesty,
are you right now, Kareem Hunt? It's just what what do Cleveland want for him? And Buffalo like, what y'all want? Because we gonna win that thing this year if y'all give us
Kareem Hunt and Singletary in the backfield. I mean, I know Nick Chubb's doing his thing. I'll say this, though. If the Browns do make a deal, Dearness Johnson, the third stringer, in the time he's gotten to play, Ike, when those two guys haven't been healthy, I'd like to see him get his opportunity too. So we'll see where Kareem Hunt goes because
we saw it last year, Mark.
Yep.
We was talking about Johnson last year.
Yep.
When Nick got hurt and it was Kareem and Johnson, we was like, oh, who's the number 3?
Yep.
Yeah, Lee. So they got depth at the running back position. They got studs. Oh, Kareem Hunt to the Buffalo Bills. Holy moly.
All right, Ike, you're the absolute best. I want to thank you, the Bleav Network, our video producers over at Brinks TV, led by John Brinkus, Courtney Vargas, Herbert Diaz, producers Megan and Yancey as well. Today's sponsor of the Bleav in Steelers show, betonline.ag. They'll take care of any of your NFL gambling needs throughout the season. And I want to thank the listeners and the viewers of the Bleav in Steelers show. Thank you for taking the time to make us a part of your day.
Hey, make sure y'all give us a 5-star rating. We want to thank all the viewers and subscribers for checking Marking Out on the Bleav in Network. BetOnline, appreciate you. BetOnline.ag, appreciate you for always rocking with Marking Out since day one. Nothing but love coming from y'all. Brinks TV, Bleav in Podcast. Mark, you know, you my fave when it comes down to this podcast. This is what we do. It's Marking Out versus everybody. I'm just going to leave it like that. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in and listening to us. Mark is sending y'all off gracefully.
For Ike Taylor, I'm Mark Bergin. Thank you for watching the Bleav in Steelers show. We'll be back next week to recap Steelers, Eagles. Until then, take care and so long, everybody.
Peace.